Join us for a press conference with New Holland in this Agri-Tech Media Edition. New Holland will present new products at Agritechnica 2025. The new T7 series includes the smallest models, known as the T7 SVB will increase from 180 HP to 250 HP, the maximum for this model, focusing on the new T7. But we will also cover round balers and wheel loader. New Holland will present a new round baler at Agritechnica, showcased here today. It's the roll belt, which has two versions. But for the Danish market, the round baler mark is probably more pro belt versions. That baler is more robust machine that might produce double the bales of this one. This is for a smaller farmer. Yet, the baler is not the most interesting part. The hardware has improved significantly and is now much more powerful. The software aspect presented by New Holland alongside this round baler is particularly intriguing. An interesting software update. New Holland is officially launching their connectivity solutions at Implements at Agritechnica. FieldOps refers to New Holland's telematics system, where all information about fields and machines is gathered. When we talk about balers, in this case, a round baler, it could just as easily be a big square baler. This allows for data collection directly from the baler into FieldOps. This can include a wide range of information, such as productivity, and also the location of each bale in the field. Additionally, you can take a closer look at specific data for each individual bale. Here, for example, we choose the moisture percentage and decide to see bales with more than 9% moisture. Boom! One bale in the field has been pressed with 9% moisture. This means you can map out, for example, which bales are too wet to be collected and which may need to go elsewhere. Another factor could be the weight of the bales. Those under a certain weight need attention. Perhaps not collect or something like that. You have the option to see FieldOps on your phone, tablet or similar devices. And the system works not only in New Holland FieldOps. We are getting access to a baler that has been operated with either an older New Holland tractor or perhaps a completely different brand. In this web browser solution, you have access to input data without necessarily using FieldOps on the tractor. We are accessing the same data here. We are examining a specific field where round bales have been pressed, and we opt to show the bales here. Moreover, in both solutions, we can click on each bale to see a variety of information displayed. The entire situation is due to the modem on the baler, and this modem is what connects to access to the cloud, which logs everything the baler performs. And this modem is the black one you see here on the round baler. This is true for round bales and big bales. If you don't use FieldOps, help is available with BaleUp Manager. By connecting Bluetooth on your phone and using a small connector that plugs into the tractor's diagnostic plug in the cabin, you gain access to all data directly at your phone. However, the information is more limited, such as the number of bales that will be available. The technology will be presented at Agritechnica 2025. Once the round bales are pressed, we can gather them, and we can conveniently do this with yet another Agritechnica innovation. That is the new T5. The T5 series is such that is not sold that many in Denmark. The T5 series can be divided from the CVT T5 right down to the more mechanical T5. On the Danish market, this is likely aimed at the leisure farmer. but in fact, this is precisely the segment that is the largest in Europe when we look at the numbers. New Holland reports that about 20,000 tractors in this segment are sold annually, not only from NH, but in total. So this segment is important when we consider Europe as a whole. Perhaps not as important when we look at Denmark, but we can quickly take a closer look at the new T5S. There might be a hobby farmer out there who needs a new tractor. One of the major innovations of the T5 series is that a supersteer front axle has been added to the tractor, and I can see that it is not on this one. We'll check with the NH guy over there.
No.
So, one of the top news pieces here at the press meeting when we mentioned T5 is that the supersteer front axle has been added, which New Holland simply chose not to include in the press meeting. You'll have to wait for Agritechnica to see how it looks, but the T5S series has the supersteer front axle now. This has been implemented to enhance its maneuverability. When we look at the T5 series, it's actually a relatively broad series. It consists of 4 distinct series. Firstly, there's the new S series, which is the smallest. Next is Power Shuttle Dual Command, followed by Electric Command. Lastly, there are the larger T5 models featuring Dynamic Command and Auto Command. This means either dual clutch or CVT. Without a doubt, the major model from the T5 series will be the one. It is expected that the larger T5 tractors will be the ones sold in Denmark, either with a variable transmission or double clutch transmission, at least for the professional farmer. And there will also be some leisure users out there. There are users who require a less powerful and more agile tractor, possibly opting for the smaller T5s. The latest New Holland T5S is manufactured in Turkey. The same applies to the T5 Power Shuttle models. This unit is right here. This is a Power Shuttle. The big difference from the S models is the cab. The cab is much larger on the T5 Power Shuttle. Both series produced in Turkey share the transmission, among other features. This is what New Holland refers to as the D110, a transmission developed in-house by New Holland. And it is a quite traditional 12x12 with mechanical gears. And right here, there is another T5 with the same cabin, but this one is a T5 dual command. It is built in Italy. And so do the T5 Auto Command and T5 Dynamic Command also uses the same cabin. But the transmission is significantly different. Here we suddenly jump to a 16x16 power shift transmission. And as you can see, there is much more electronics here in the cab. The front loaders on the T5 series are designed by CNH. They are built in Italy. They are not manufactured by CNH itself, but by a supplier. But it follows CNH's designs and plans. Design. If you want a front loader on a bigger New Holland tractor than the T7 and T6 models, there's a collaboration with German Stoll for factory-installed front loaders. You can also have one installed locally by a dealer if you prefer. If you want a factory-installed front loader, it's a Stoll for the larger ones. For the smaller ones, it's CNH's own supplier from Italy that provides the front loaders. So I think we are done with the small tractors. I previously mentioned that the total market in Europe, due to their slightly smaller tractors, is 20,000 units annually. It can be hard if we lack something else to compare, but I can tell you that if we consider the tractor market in Europe is roughly 100,000 to 120,000 units. When we say 20,000 tractors just in this small market, it is indeed a quite important market to be part of. If we look at Denmark, the number of these sold new is limited. This may relate to the average farm size in Denmark if we consider full-time users average 200 hectares. These tractors will likely go to farms that manage 5 to 15 to 20 hectares, or a leisure farm in Denmark that operates a 30 to 40 hectares, needing a new tractor. And from T5s and loaders, we need to move on to something a bit more serious equipment. we need to take a closer look at the New Holland W170D Plus forage power. It suits the Danish market. For the 2026 season, New Holland hopes to make their popular W70D even more popular. They are aiming for a specific contractors with a notably more powerful machine. A machine that is strong in both horsepower and torque and has room for more fuel. And that is precisely why it is now called forage power. The name is unchanged. W indicates the machine group we are working with. This is a wheel loader, so its W170 refers to its weight, a 17-ton machine. And the D, that's the position in the product line. And plus, stands for a series of updates for the machine. And forwards power is simply because it's a machine that is targeted contractors that need to operate quite a bit in silage. And let's take a tour in the machine. There have indeed been some modifications made inside the cabin. To start with, new seating options are available. There's a ventilated leather seat option in this machine. Additionally, a cooler box has been included. The cabin is just as you know it. There's an option for joystick control. Let's close the door. The windshield is just as you know it. It's a large windshield from floor to ceiling. Let's release the parking brake. And we have the ability to steer the wheel loader here with joystick control. This is familiar technology in the world of wheel loaders. It's not new. The same for the terminal in the rooftop here. The inner screen where we can both see speed. We even have a rear cam. However, the most significant updates here in New Holland, W170D Plus forage power. Yes, it is located in the engine compartment and in the transmission. It is still the 6.7-liter FPT engine that responds in the engine compartment. But the software has been changed and the power has increased from just under 180 HP to 255 HP. And the engine torque has been raised from 900 to 1300 Nm. This means 30% more horsepower and 37% more torque compared to previous models. Service intervals are now 1,000 hours for engine oil and 2,000 hours for hydraulic oil. The engine is low on the machine. No extra counterweight is needed, and the engine aid is low for easy visibility. The long reach arm was an option on the W170E. Now it's standard on the new forage power. Michelin 750/65 R26 tire mounting is also standard now. It's easy to attach and remove fenders in New Holland, especially for stacking. On the left side of the machine, you can see this has been done. The rubber goat has a new 350-liter fuel tank, up from 246 liters, and now has 6 gears instead of 5. It opens from the first gear. You can select a quiet alarm for reversing and add a car-like radar system to the goat. It warns the driver of approaching objects from behind. Additionally, you can now get electric mirrors that adjust and can be heated. Now let's talk about the new T7 tractor we are expecting. It's clear that it has a diesel engine. Holland is working extensively with alternative fuels. And at Agritechnica, they will present the first self-driving T7 tractor that runs on mental energy. I have actually had the chance to test it in England. Now we are just waiting for my experience with this new mental tractor and how it appears. Then we will come back here to the new T7 SVB model.
The methane power T7. The methane power T7 270. Yeah. So yeah, we just either on your foot or on here.
Yeah.
And away we go. And you'll feel it doesn't really drive any different to a diesel tractor.
No, exactly. Maybe the big difference is maybe the sound.
The sound.
It sounds a bit like a diesel.
Yeah, it sounds from the outside. It sounds like an old Tier 3 tractor. It's got the bark to it. Yes,
especially like the T7070.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah. So if we swing around, and when we get straight, we can just give it full revs, and you can see.
And when is this ready for the market?
So late 2025, probably realistically 2026 is when we're looking for market. But yeah, that's it. Carpet the pedal, away we go. See.
Maybe this is also show that this movie. It doesn't seem like you're sitting in a gas tractor.
Exactly. It's smooth. The cab suspension smooth as well. The ride is smooth.
Yeah. And to the beginning, this is only the T7270.
270. Yeah. So this is a lot of our tractors are power boosted. So the T6 tractor will have 180 horsepower maximum boosted power. So on the road haulage, she'll do 180 horsepower. But this tractor has a flat power curve, so if you put the PTO in or you go on the road, it doesn't have the extra boost. It's just a flat curve. Yeah. So similar to a T7 heavy duty that has a flat curve as well. Yeah.
So we have no boost on this tractor.
No, we have growth, but no boost. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So regardless of whether you are power harrowing with a PTO or whatever with a PTO implement, it doesn't have the extra boost.
And how long can I drive this? Was it 200 kilograms?
Yeah, so
gas on this one?
Again, it's the same as the T6. It really all depends on application.
Of course.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of biodigester plants will be using these currently. I'm talking UK. A lot of them will be using them for road haulage. So they'll be taking in digestate to the field and injecting it. They'll be probably bringing waste back to the biodigester. So the majority of the time these will be on road haulage.
Okay.
So it really depends how far you go, whatever. I mean, the T6, just as an idea, you tend to get about 8 hours out of a T6 doing road haulage.
And 8 hours. But if you're going to the field with a 5-foot plow, this will maybe not go 8 hours.
Correct. Yeah, but normally, going back to the scenario where you're always going to and from the biodigester, if you have a filling station, you've just seen it doesn't take very long to fill up. Yeah. So you have to maybe change your farming mindset that when you come back, you just quickly top it up with gas. It's not a hard thing.
Yeah, and how long time for empty tank to full tank? 5
minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, maximum. Yeah, it's not long at all.
Okay, thank you for the test drive.
Okay, no worries at all.
So this is our T7 270 gas tractor. This is a methane tractor. We are looking to bring it into full production late 2025. You can see it's coming past here, and one of the standout features straight away is we now have that wonderful exhaust note back, which we all love. Yeah. So this tractor is running on 100% methane. There's no additional fuel tanks, etc., of another sort. Now, this is a 6.7 litre diesel engine, as we always know and love, but this one here is the gas version of it. So it has its own production line, it's not a conversion at all, and we build it as a gas engine. It goes from a compressed ignition engine to a spark ignition engine. This engine doesn't have boost, unlike its diesel tractors, so it is 260 rated, 270 max, and it's able still then to hold 1159 Newton meters of torque.
So the big difference about this tractor and the diesel tractor is the diesel. The diesel tank is gone here, and you have some tanks of gas.
Absolutely, yes. So we do away with the plastic moulded blown tanks, and we have a series of T-ped tanks underneath that hold gas at 200 bar. That enables the tractor there with a range extender, depending on work, to get from 8 to 18 hours of runtime, depending on what type of work it's doing. We started off the journey with the T6 180, so that's a smaller frame T6 tractor. Still using the 6.7 litre engine, and And yeah, we've had that in production now for 2 years. We've listened to demand from customers, from users, that they wanted a higher horsepower version. But with both of these tractors, one of the key features is we're able to mimic the power and the torque of that of a diesel engine, and also even the service intervals stay the same at 750 hour, which is currently the longest service interval in the business there.
And if we are going to the field and we have a long day in the field and we need to refuel the tractor in the field?
So we recognise the fact that, you know, it's not just on-farm filling that you're able to do. Sometimes you're out working, you may have a block to go away and work for a few days, and we needed to be able to fill away remotely. So there's a series of options available on the market. This is made by a company called Road Gas, so you can go right from a small little skid unit that goes into the back of a pickup truck, say. It gives you a little bit of a top up to keep going, a bit of a squirt. This here is able to fill tractors up, but it doesn't stop here. They do roll and roll off units to go to the back of hook loaders, all the way up to that of an Arctic trailer as well. So there's a full range in the market of refueling type systems to be able to be done remotely from the farm. We've got over 100 out now with retail customers, and as mentioned earlier, the T7 here, this is one of the pre-production ones. They will be on sale, landing on farm as well, on farm, which will be Q3 2025.
At Agritechnica 2025, Holland will introduce the T7 tractor in a conceptual version, ready for sale starting in 2026. Here it is, the new T7 SWB. What does SWB stand for? It stands for standard wheelbase. We can refer to these as the smaller T7s, starting from 170 horsepower and going up to the top model with 225 horsepower. And as an SWB, it means that it is standard wheelbase. The T7 LWB, which means long wheelbase and has a longer wheelbase. And then we have at the top T7 HD with a slightly longer axle distance. The axle distance difference is approximately 10-15 centimeters among the SWB, LWB and HD models. And in the New Holland, T7 SWB is more than just a new design. The design stands out in the new T7 series. This design will appear in other New Holland tractor models. The model behind me is in blue power, a color known from New Holland for many years. The original New Holland blue is going away, replaced by dynamic blue. Also, the rims will be gray on dynamic blue models. The new T7 SVB generation update brings everything together. So, the whole T7 series is now updated with new cabins and technology. Yes, this means we can expect the current T7 LVB with T7 300 as the top model, as well as T7 HD with T7 340 as the top model to be updated. They will be updated, at least the design, in the coming years. The new T7, the SWB generation is almost entirely new from front to back. The engine is a 6.7-liter FPT engine from the last generation. However, according to New Holland, the torque curve has been improved and the 1060 N-emitter is available already at 1300 RPM. The maximum engine power is also achieved at 1500 RPM. New Holland highlights that side panels do not need to be removed for daily service. Air filters can be reached without removing them. The service interval for the engine is set at 750 hours. Transmission choices are reduced and expanded in the new generation. The auto command comes with an updated version where there are 3 groups instead of 2. It has been modified to provide more power through the transmission, resulting in greater ground power via the wheels. New Holland introduces dynamic command to the new T7 generation, featuring a dual clutch transmission with 24 gears, 8 in each group. This replaces the power command power shift transmission that was available in the T7 series. However, if you prefer a slightly simpler tractor, you can still get range command, which is group shift between the different areas and power shift in 3 different gears. The new T7 tractor features a nice detail on its right side, which is an integrated toolbox that has been cleverly designed. A full-size toolbox can be pulled out from here. New Holland has actually thought a bit about this, as they have created a small space here to place any bolts or other items while working with the tools. We also have access to our battery from this point. Poland has been positioned forward to allow power transfer to other vehicles or to start the tractor if needed. There is a small sink here for washing our hands after working. The new T7 series features an upgraded transmission, which has resulted in a more powerful rear equipment. The rear axle has been strengthened, and this is visible at the back. The lift arms are positioned further out on the rear axle, so the rear equipment should be stronger, although the dimensions are virtually identical. The lift has a capacity of 8.4 tons, and the flow rate can be chosen from 115 liters to 170 liters per minute. And for the big moving day back here, they have actually made it a bit easier to install hoses. If you're installing 3 hoses, because over on the left side, they have moved 3 remote outlets, and they've installed pressure equalization outlets here, which is great. We can also mount air brakes and lights here. On the right side, we can add 2 more auxiliary outlets, totaling 5. This is also where we can install isobus, among other things. These pistons indicate that new cabin suspension has been introduced in the T7 series. You can actually choose from 3 types of cabin suspension: mechanical, hydraulic, or air. And if you choose the hydraulic option, you actually have the ability to adjust it in 3 different levels inside the cabin. And the cab suspension communicates with the front axle suspension. The front axle suspension has also been modified here on the T7 tractor. In fact, a completely new front axle has been installed on the new T7. You can choose either a standard or heavy-duty front axle. The heavy-duty front axle, commonly referred to as HD front axle, can handle up to 9 tons of weight on the front axle. 2 cylinders come with 2 containers for managing the suspension, adjustable to various levels from the cabin. The new front axle has made it possible to turn significantly sharper with the tractor, and the turning radius has been reduced by 17% compared to before. Let's try climbing into the completely new cabin of the new T7 series. Before we climb up, it's worth noting that there is a completely new entry and exit arrangement with good handles on the sides and solid steps. There's even a handle here. Up here in the cabin, here, we have access to the new T7 series. Features 350 liters of diesel and AdBlue, plus a small weight box here. And when we climb in, we enter a completely new Horizon cabin. The cabin frames are actually almost identical to the previous ones, but the rear pillars have been moved further back. It feels like a different cabin with more space. You can see there's room for storage behind the passenger seat. More space is available around the seat. And over here to the right of the driver. The armrest is, however, not identical to what we have seen before from New Holland in T7, long wheelbase, HD, and T8. The armrest is wider and longer. In the new T7, it has been made shorter and narrower. This adjustment is made to create space in this cabin, which is a bit smaller than the Horizon 2 cabin found in T7 300 and T7 340. But the IntelliView 12 terminal at the end of the armrest and the control handle here are somewhat identical to what we have seen in the other tractors. What has changed is, among other things, the number of hydraulics here in the cover. It is the layout of the armrest. But I must say, here in this, we can call it the small T7 with 225 HP. It has a quite nice-sized armrest located here to the right of the driver. Additionally, there is an option to install a cooler box. And in the roof, there are changes, including new light control. These smaller T7s compared to New Holland can be offered in a simpler version with mechanical gear and helicopter. You can also opt out of the IntelliView 12 terminal. You can choose to have it installed here on the rail to the right of the driver, or that it is not in the tractor at all. And where can you see the various information? Well, you can see it, among other places, up here on the right A-post, where there is a small display for the lights. And right here in front of the steering wheel, similar to what you have seen in the i in T7 and T8, there is also a small display that shows information where you can set something. And I'll mention that when we raise and lower the steering wheel, it works like a foot pedal, just like we have seen in T7 LVB and T7 HD and T8 for that matter. This is quite nice because this tractor could likely be delivered with a front loader where we have many entries and exits. It's also quite convenient that we can quickly raise the steering wheel and have a simple entry and exit from here. And if you chooses to have their T7 with a front loader, Nord-Holland will offer a panoramic roof. You haven't had the chance to see this at the press conference, but New Holland tells that at Agritechnica in Hanover in November. New Holland will show that you can get this panoramic roof where there is glass a good way up in the roof. We look forward to seeing how the new T7 series will look here. Lastly, let me point out some details that show the thoughtfulness in the New Holland T7 series. At one exit, there's a cutout for secured. By the New Holland logo, a camera can be mounted here. On the right side of the tractor, the sprayer fluid has been moved down here. And the last detail I want to highlight is the design. It's actually a bit of a two-part detail. As you can see here, this curve on the tractor's hood. It also appears here in the cabin. At the armrest, the same curve runs across. A lovely detail at the back, it is the rear lights. Take a look here. They are designed in the shape of the Nord-Holland logo. The New Holland T7 is expected in Denmark by 2026, but you'll be able to see it at Agritechnica in November in Hanover, and it will come in various versions, including one with a panoramic roof. Then it will become truly exciting, as I think many of these could be fitted with a front loader. Danish market, so we conclude this film from a New Holland Press meeting. If you like this, please subscribe. Hit subscribe and the bell on Agritech Media's YouTube channel. Turn on notifications to be alerted when a new video is posted. Trust me, you'll want to follow Agritechnica. There are really many coming. News, keep updated, press subscribe and the bell on Agritechnica Media's YouTube channel. And remember, it's free despite the name. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, there's one last thing I'd like to mention. There are rumors that a new big tractor is coming from New Holland. During the last Agritechnica in 2023, I had a conversation with Sean Lennon, who is referred to as the Vice President for New Holland in Europe. And to the question of whether there is a new replacement on the way for the T8 or something similar, perhaps built in Europe. Yes, he responded as follows.
There is some rumors in the industry about a bigger tractor production in Europe from New Holland. Do you have a comment on that rumors?
I would invite you to Agritechnica 2025 and you might see something new.
Interesting.